Welcome to the part 3 of Corel video series, and in this video, as I promised in the part 2, we will be creating objects in Corel Draw, and right now we'll be just using these basic tools which are given in Corel Draw by default, and we'll also understand what a vector object is, not in full detail, but yes, we will just brush up the surface of the understanding of a vector object. Okay, so let's just quickly activate this rectangle tool here, and the way we create objects inside Corel Draw is simple. It's click and drag method. So we click and drag, so depending on which direction are you dragging, the rectangle will form. Fine. So this is how you create a rectangle in Corel Draw. Okay, now if I want to make it a square, then I can do so by holding control while dragging it, and what that does, it constrains the proportion and restricts it from getting distorted and being a rectangle, and it gives us a square. So for making a square, you hold control on the keyboard and then click and drag. That is about creating rectangles. I'll just quickly delete these three and show you the ellipse tool. Ellipse tool is also the same. If you click and then drag, you get an ellipse, and if you want a perfect circle, you hold control for getting a circle. Alright, now after that we have a polygon, and by default we have the option of creating a pentagon. You can also increase the number of sides while creating it or even after creating it, and we will see more to it in upcoming sessions. So if I want a perfect polygon, I'll hold control and then click and drag to get a polygon. Alright, so this is how you create objects in Corel Draw. Now one thing I would like to draw your attention towards, that whenever I create an object, it is getting created from the point where I clicked, and it extends itself till the point where I keep on dragging. Now in some cases I might want this to grow from center, because this is a circle and it's a uniform shape, and I wish to grow it from the center rather than dragging it from the point I have clicked. So I can do so by holding control and shift both together, and in this way I can make the circle grow from the center as I create it, and it's a very handy little technique which I wanted you people to understand. Okay, so hold control along with the shift to grow it from the center and constrain it to a circle. Same goes for the rectangle as well. If you wish to grow it from the center, hold control and shift both and then click and drag. Alright, same goes for the polygon also. Try it out yourself and you'll understand. Now the next thing is understanding the properties of the particular object we created. Now vector objects have two major properties. One is fill, the color which is filled inside it, and another one is the outline color or the stroke color. Now I'll just hit P on the keyboard. P is the shortcut for centering any selected object on the stage, not the stage, the page. So if I hit P, the object is going to be aligned exactly with the center on the page. And now let's switch to pick tool, because we are done with the creation. Always make it a habit that when you are done with the creation, you switch to pick tool. It's a good habit. Now by default, Corel has a tendency of filling white inside the objects created and stroke it with a black color outline. Now if I want to fill a different color, I'll go to the color palette and then just pick the color I want to fill inside. If I want to change the outline color, probably the outline color is not visible right now, but if you zoom into it by scrolling up, you'll see that there is this thin outline color, and we can also change the outline color by right clicking on the color palette. So left click for filling the color inside the selected object, and right clicking for changing the outline color or applying an outline color. Okay, now if I wish to increase the thickness of the outline color, I can click on this drop down here make sure that the object is selected, then only you will have access to this property. If I deselect it, that outline color option is not available to us. So make sure that the object is selected, then only you will find this outline color. Now click and then pick from the drop down. It's given in points, so I have an outline of 8 points. You have more options to play around with outline settings, and we will see to it in upcoming videos. Right now just let's keep it simple, and this is how we can fill color inside any selected object and increase the thickness of the outline, change the color of the outline. So every time I right click, the outline is going to get that particular color on which I have right clicked. Alright, so that's pretty much about it. I promised that I'll keep it short, and I'm keeping it as short as possible. So now you know. I'll just quickly summarize the things you have learned so far. In the part 1 we have talked about the interface and where to look for tools, where to look for colors, where to look for menu bars and other options. That was covered in the part 1. In the part 2 we learnt about how to make selections of multiple objects, and in the part 3 we have learnt how we can create objects, how we can constrain the proportion of the objects we create, how we can originate it from the center, and also we have learnt how we can change the color of the fill and thickness of the outline as well as the color of the outline. So that would be all for this video, and see you in the next video, part 4 of the Corel video series. Thank you.